Hello and welcome to Cygnus Destroyer's Top 10s. Longtime viewers should be accustomed to my tendency to like games that most people consider to be crap. I've been accused of being too lenient in many YouTube comments, and I was even called an idiot who doesn't know what good games are. It's true that I'm soft on licensed cash grabs, shovelware, and their ilk, but that's just how I am, and I fully embrace it. It's what makes me unique, so that's why I've decided to create a list tailored to my peculiar taste. Without further ado, here are 10 supposedly sucky video games that I'm fond of.
Awesome Kickstarter machine knows what.
I'm awesome.
Yes, Awesome Possum finally earns a legit spot on a list. Released during the animal mascot craze of the early 90s, Awesome Possum is pretty bizarre by the already eccentric standards of the era. My cousins got this for Christmas when we were kids, and I wanted a copy of my own. For one reason or another, that never happened, which was honestly for the best since Awesome Possum is far from awesome.
Leave me alone.
The titular character makes Bubsy look like Sonic, and the platforming is quite floaty and flawed.
Bad guys.
However, it's always been very nostalgic for me, and I'm glad it's currently part of my Genesis collection.
Check this out.
A film tie-in. What a surprise. Charlie's Angels is based on the sequel, Full Throttle, and is widely held to be one of the worst games ever made. It received such a negative reception that plans for a PS2 and Xbox version were canceled. I picked up this dud last year at a thrift store, and I was aware of its reputation when I did. Charlie's Angels is a train wreck of epic proportions, and it totally deserves all the criticism, but I still get a kick out of it.
Crouching Tiger's this.
It's a beat 'em up where the female leads perform gravity-defying jumps and dance around like idiots. It may be trash, but it's my kind of trash. I'm assuming most of you have never heard of sneakers before. This Toys R Us exclusive failed to blip on my radar until I watched a review of it on my buddy's show Viridian Flashback. As soon as I saw those cute mice with high-pitched Japanese voices, I was hooked. Don't get me wrong, Sneakers is weird to the extreme and has a number of flaws, but a big grin crosses my face whenever I play it. I don't normally have guilty pleasures since I unabashedly enjoy bad games, but Sneakers fits that category for me, and I thank Jay for giving me his copy. Speaking of which, you can check out his review for a different take on this oddity by clicking on the box on the screen right now. Cheap plug aside, let's continue on with the list. Those that saw my TurboGrafx special will be familiar with JJ and Jeff. JJ and Jeff is an incredibly wacky side-scroller starring a pair of detectives that get into crazy antics involving poop and this. Whatever the hell this is. As hard as it is to believe, the PC Engine title that it derives from is even stranger. Kato-chan and Ken-chan takes the scatological humor to the next level with farts and pee aplenty. Yes, farts. Kato and Ken eliminate enemies with deadly flatulence. That is astounding. JJ and Jeff and Kato-chan and Ken-chan are stupid toilet humor romps, and that's why I find them so appealing. Japan, don't ever change. Dragon Ball GT is considered by many anime enthusiasts to be garbage, so it's fitting that Final Bout places near the bottom of the Dragon Ball fighters. As the first Dragon Ball title released in the US, it's disappointingly poor. The polygonal graphics and stiff controls pale in comparison to the Budokai trilogy that followed a few years later. However, the charm for me lies in the audio department. The Japanese voiceover was replaced by American actors for the menus.
Alright! I'm gonna win for sure!
You are the first to show me this much.
But Masako Nozawa and the rest of the original cast can be heard during battle. The constant switching of languages cracks me up.
To give me this much pleasure with your attack is worthy of praise. The damage is greater than I thought.
Overall, Final Bout is a fairly average, bordering on subpar fighter, but it's still a Dragon Ball title, and I enjoy it in spite of its flaws.
You're pretty strong!
Batman Forever is a huge step back from its 8 and 16-bit predecessors. It was the brainchild of Acclaim and featured Mortal Kombat-esque digitized actors and moves that produced less than stellar results. Batman Forever is the black sheep of the classic comic tie-ins, but I'll always be fond of it. Playing it immediately takes me back to 7th grade and the Kids WB Saturday morning cartoon lineup. For the nostalgia kick alone, Batman Forever will forever earn my appreciation and respect. The Power Rangers are no strangers to my channel, and I previously covered Lightspeed Rescue in my initial series retrospective. This technologically advanced adventure shares little in common with the SNES and Genesis carts that I grew up with, and it's really dumb. But that's why I love it! Lightspeed Rescue is super cheesy with hilariously bad voice samples, but it all mixes together to make a charming, goofy experience. Whenever I want to turn my brain off and get in a silly mood, I'll pop this into my N64. It's always good for a laugh. Street Fighter has become synonymous with Capcom excellence, but it didn't start off that way. The entry that gave birth to a genre titan is pretty lousy. The controls are horrible and it's completely unbalanced. It's almost easier to pull off an ultra combo than it is to perform a Hadouken. Regardless, it paved the way for a certain masterpiece called Street Fighter II and introduced Ryu, Ken, and Sagat to the world. Plus, the speech samples are amazing. Check it out.
Okay, but don't forget there are many goals like you all over the world.
Words cannot express how much I love that. Street Fighter is a lackluster disappointment, but its influence is undeniable, and those monologues alone are worth the price of admission, which is around $20 since it can be found on Capcom Classics Collection Volume 2, so it's win-win. For a franchise known for speed, Sonic R plods along rather slowly. The concept is brilliant, but the execution is a disaster. The stages are shoddily designed and it's easy to get off course. Anyone who claims Sonic R is abysmal is within reason to do so, and I'll respect their opinion, but I disagree. Sonic R is basically Mario Kart without the karts, and that is fantastic. Sure, it's not without its annoyances, but all of that is forgiven by the inclusion of the exquisite soundtrack. The music receives tons of hate, but I adore it, especially living in the city. That melody gives me goosebumps, and I could listen to it on a loop for hours. Sonic R has many traits that make it worthy of its reputation, but I think it's ultimately a decent racer bolstered by a phenomenal soundtrack. It's that moment you've been waiting for, the reveal of number 1. This title is infamous for being truly terrible. It's the glitchiest and least finished of the entries on this list, but I can't help myself from enjoying it in small doses. That notorious menace is...
Make your selection now.
I may have condemned Action 52 on Innocent Till Proven Guilty, but as I mentioned in the conclusion of that video, I have fun with this unlicensed abomination, and I find its history to be fascinating. Action 52 took inspiration from pirate multi-carts, and Active Enterprises had grand aspirations of providing the most 8-bit bang for the buck. Unfortunately, this lofty dream turned into a nearly unplayable nightmare. The 52 titles were buggy at best and broken at worst, but my tolerance for crap allows me to appreciate this catastrophe for what it is. Action 52 has a few bright spots, but it does indeed suck. No matter how much it sucks, I can't bring myself to hate anything that has this. Killer Tune aside, I probably added more fuel to the aforementioned nickname, but I don't care. I've never been afraid to go against the majority consensus, and this isn't an exception to the rule. Would I be able to provide a strong defense for these offenders in the IUPG court? Possibly not, but that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy them like I do Birdemic, The Room, and countless other B-movies. Entertainment doesn't always have to be high quality. Sometimes it's satisfying to just dig into a pile of schlock. Anyway, as this sucky list winds down, I've got to work on another massive trial. Be sure to come back for that, but until then, this is Matt, signing out. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, click any of the boxes on the screen right now and you'll be able to watch a few more of my videos. And if you haven't already, be sure to click that red box right there in the corner and that'll subscribe to the channel and you'll be able to keep up to date with all of my current content. Thanks again, everyone.